Hello there. Well, 1 second. I was able to hear myself. All right. Well, hello guys, and welcome to once again another race here on the Speed Force Racing YouTube channel. Today we're going to be having a season 16 round 23 of the Qatar Grand Prix here in Division 3. A couple of guys coming out already, and something very unusual has happened here in Qatar because we have got rain during a qualifying session. The chances of having rain in Qatar is probably 1 out of 10,000. I don't know how many times it rains around Qatar, but obviously and not too very often. So I hope everyone is ready for this penultimate Grand Prix of the calendar. We're currently around 23 out of the 24. And this is also going to be my last race, so hopefully you guys are going to be enjoying my commentary for the last time here in Speed Force Racing. It's going to be emotional at the end of the Grand Prix, but I mean, that's still an hour and a half from now. So a couple of guys coming out on track already. It's getting quite busy there in Sector 1. Somebody is already quite up ahead. That is a Haas driver, probably Burley or Mitran Deer. So we're just going to have a look at either one of them. It's going to be Burley in P4 for now, but he's going to be coming across the line first, of course, if he doesn't crash the car into the wall or off track. And this is going to be a beautiful Sector 2, a very tricky one in the rain. But also Sector 3 is going to be very tricky, as it's going to be high-speed right-handers here in turn 11, 12, and 13. Or is that turn 10, 11, and 12? And you won't be able to go full throttle through them. Usually during dry weather conditions, you will be able to do so. But during wet tire conditions or intermediates, it's going to be a hard challenge to be able to go there full throttle. So here we go into turn 16, the last corner. Yo-Yo Keeps, how are you doing, buddy, in the chat? Hopefully you're going to have a good stream. So here comes Burley, down the straight he goes, and this is going to be the first Grand Prix qualifying lap of anyone on track. So Burley going into turn 1, hard braking zone. It's going to be a right-hander. You really need to watch out with the curb on the inside there, because you can easily lose the car. Good exit on turn 2. We've got turn 3. This is going to be turn 2, never mind. Into turn 3, taking a lot of curb there, trying to cut the corner as much as possible to gain a little bit of extra time. Into turn 4, 90 degrees corner to your right, trying to take as much curb on the exit. Into turn 5, same there. It's the same scenario as in turn 4, quite of similar corners. Into turn 6, it's going to be a very slow corner, slow left-hander, and that's going to be the slowest corner around the Qatar Grand Prix. If I'm not mistaken, this is called the Losail International Circuit here in Qatar, and it's going to be the penultimate track on the actual F1 season as well. And then next week, obviously, we're going to be having Abu Dhabi. To finish off the season, Burley already the driver's champion here in Speed Force Racing Division 3, so he can crown himself the champion, and he can be promoted to Division 2 next season. As Burley is going to take this fast right-hander now, trying to take as much curb as possible. Beautifully done. Still has a lot of VRS left in the tank, so I think he should be able to use a little bit more here in his next qualifying session. Depends on whether it's going to keep on raining like this, and you don't know whether it's actually intermediates or wet tire conditions. Seems like Burley is getting around the track quite smooth. Coming across the line right now for 135.2. Usually it is around a 122, 121 maybe. But today it's going to be 14 seconds slower because of the rain. Let's go on board with Halvor, who's usually quite of a weather specialist, as he comes across the line to put a pole position. And as I said, 35.2. And Mitran Deer also comes across the line with 135.1. Daniel in the chat says, how is it raining in Qatar? I cannot explain you that. It's been a curse in Division 3, I must say so. I think half of the races have been rain during either the qualifying or the race, so that is usually for much frustration for the drivers as well. But apart from that, I mean, obviously it's going to be a great race. I'm pretty sure of that. Billy G put himself in P4 right now with a 136.1. And we do tend to see some differences here in this qualifying session due to the rain. We've got a 110 difference between P1 and P2. A couple of hundreds of a difference between P2 and P3. And then all the way from P3 to P4, we've got a 6 or a 7/10 gap. And that is a big difference there. Usually the Red Bull drivers do well as well in the qualifying session. The V-Car as well. They're about a second down. So we're going to have to see some guys step up their games here in this qualifying session. Maybe it's setup wise, maybe the guys in the top 3 have put on a rain setup. and the guys at the bottom of them are putting on dry setups. You never know. So Prep currently in Sector 2 as he's got a bit of traffic up ahead. That is a McLaren and a Williams driver. We're going to try and enter Sector 3 as we speak. Prep on the intermediates as well. I think everyone is on the intermediates. Let me just double check with you guys. One driver is on the soft tires. That's going to be Gogs, but he is not going to be able to put a qualifying lap in because he's trying to do a blast to first challenge once again. Prep who's coming into turn 15, taking as much curb as possible. The guys up ahead are seeming to have a little battle there. There was a McLaren and a Red Bull. And Prep coming down the line right now. It's going to be a Williams and a McLaren coming back into the pits. Prep is putting himself in the top 11. As that will be a 137.1. The same time as Sofanico, quite ironically. I want to go on board with Stank here. Just came out of the pit lane. That's going to be his outlet. We might want to go on board with somebody who is on a fast lap. Nobody seems to be really pushing here. Maybe Doran, who's just let through the Kick Sauber driver. So that's going to be Prep. Is he going to go for another one? The Kick Sauber driver has been pretty decent throughout the season, as we might want to take the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship with us, as we don't know whether the Constructors' Championship has been decided already. It could be that these last couple of races are of crucial, I don't know, crucial. It could be that they are crucial. Let me just double check here. Division 3. So the Division 3 championship has been decided already. It goes to Burley, but P2, P3, P4 and P5 haven't been decided yet. So Mr. Wiggles is currently in P2. He's not going to be there today, so he's losing a lot of points. Doran in P3 as we speak. He's about 11 points down on P2, so he can still grab his P2 in the Drivers' Championship. Now we've got the V-Car in P4. Is he going to be able to outperform his very own teammate in the Drivers' Championship? That will be decided at the end of next week in Abu Dhabi. Constructor-wise, we are looking at Haas winning the championship by quite a lot of ease, as there will be about 60 points difference. So I don't think that can be covered today and next week. So we can crown Haas almost already Drivers' Champions, Constructors' Champions, of course. Alpine is about 70 points clear of Red Bull, who is in P3. We've got a little battle between Red Bull and Mercedes of about 60 points for P3. So that seems to be cleared already. Now, what is not cleared yet, no, that's also cleared, is the combined constructors. So Red Bull is currently winning by about 150 points. I think they really need to mess up to be able to give that lead away. Alpine is currently in P2, and Mr. Wiggles not scoring any points today is going to be a big bummer as well for Alpine. So I think everything has been decided already. P2, P3, P4 and P5 in the Drivers' Championship still to be determined, but that's going to be for later on. Staying currently on a fast lap, so he's going to have a little bit of traffic up ahead. A Red Bull, a Williams, a Haas driver and a Kick Sauber. And that Kick Sauber seems to be having a lot of pace. Probably Prep, who's currently last of everyone who has qualified. 137.1. Not a great time by Prep. And we saw that Stefanico had the same time. He did improve on his time, 135.8, currently in P7. So that's a great time by the Aston Martin drivers. We might want to go on board with Stank here, as he's coming around the last corner as we speak. He's going to be able to get a lot of slipstream from the guys ahead. That's going to give him a big advantage coming down the straight. The Williams driver coming back into the pits, crosses the wide lines though, has to watch out, and Stank puts himself in P3. Great qualifying there from the Norwegian driver Halvor. Still in pole position by about a tenth on Billy G, who's coming back into the pits. Wasn't up in his time, but still has 8 more minutes in this qualifying session. Doran currently in P4, so the Red Bulls are definitely present here in Qatar. The V-Car still in P5. The Haas drivers a little bit disappointing in the rain, but we've seen that before in the last couple of races where it was raining, that Mitrandir was outperforming Burley as well in the race as in the qualifying. So we're just gonna have to wait and see whether that streak is gonna continue here, and whether they're gonna be able to not put themselves in the top 5 here today. Dom currently in P9, still in the pit lane. John Mopes with a surprising P10. We have seen worse from the McLaren driver as well. Alex Hawk is back at it again. We haven't seen him for many times. He used to be Aston Martin, but currently he's racing in that Alpine car. Redoubt's one of the new guys. I have been commentating on his races for quite some time. As Burley comes across the line, look at that time at 133.2, absolutely demolishing the rest of the guys as he's on fresh intermediates. So the intermediates appear to be the faster tire still in this qualifying session. Redoubt seems to be struggling coming around turn 11 there, as he had a little snap coming out of the corner. Now, once again, a big snap from the McLaren driver. He's coming around the last corner as we speak. Mitrandir coming across the line as well. 8 tenths down on his very own teammate, with Stieng coming across the line as well, putting himself in the middle of those two Haas drivers. Redoubt's up on his time by about a second and one, then putting himself in P11 as we speak. We might want to go on board with a Sofanico here, currently in P8, who is not up in his time. He's 2 seconds down. John Mobes, is he going to be up in his time coming around the last corner? Seems to be a fast one for the McLaren driver, almost validated on his time, and it's going to be an improvement, but by how much? 1.6 seconds. Look at that time from John Mobes, a 134.2. Great time by the McLaren driver, who puts himself into the top 5. Yo, Indigo, how are you doing, buddy? How are you doing? Alex Hawk, not up in his time, but maybe when he comes across the line, he might have found a couple of 10s in Sector 3, and he did not find any. It's 3 10s down on his time. Still going to be a P12 for Alex Hawk, who isn't going to be able to improve here in this qualifying session. Still 6 more minutes to go, with Helvor up in his time by quite a bit, 1.1 seconds already, and that is going to give him pole position by quite a bit if he improves here in Sector 3. We just got to patiently wait until he covers Sector 3 as well. And coming around the last corner goes Helvor, the Kick Sauber driver, with 134.3. The time to beat is 133.2. Down the line he goes. Maybe he still has a little bit of ERS left in the tank, and he puts himself on pole position for now, 132.5. Absolutely blowing away the competition as we speak. And that's going to be a 7-10 lead for Helvor. Great qualifying there from the Kick Sauber driver. Let's see if anyone is going to be able to beat him. He's got to come back to the pits, put on some new intermediates, and hopefully go for another fastest lap. So we can see that the track is evolving. We can see that it's getting faster, and we can see that the last driver who's going to put a lap on the board is going to be probably having the fastest lap of the session. Dom currently not up in his time. The V-Carb driver is currently in P10. The top 10 is still a very competitive grid, if I must say so. We've got a 2-10 gap between Mitrandir and John Mobes, 2 10s between Billy G and John Mobes. We've got about 3 10s between Doran and Billy G. So the Red Bull drivers, once again, really close to each other. And Red Bull has been performing really well in the combined constructor. So let's see whether they're going to be able to strengthen the position of Red Bull in that combined standings. Sofanico has been there as well for some consistent top 10s in the qualifying. The V-car just came across the line, if I'm not mistaken, or was it Alex Hawk? It might have been Alex Hawk, as the V-car is back into the pits. Alex Hawk now 7 tenths up in his time. He managed to get himself into the top 9. Helvor still on pole position, but there's some fast guys on an outlet. Billy G and Dorn, we've seen the famous Red Bull duo before. They've been battling with other drivers, other teams like I've never seen before. So let's see whether the Red Bull boys can possibly put themselves in the top 5. Billy G is going to be the first driver to come across the line to start his qualifying lap, so we might want to go on board to do a track analysis real quick and see how Billy G tackles this track. Down the straight he goes. A lot of ERS can be used already. It doesn't seem like Billy G is using any, so is he going for another one, waiting for the track to evolve a little bit here? I think he might be, because he's not using any ERS, and he's going to be waiting. It's going to be a slow corner here in turn 1. He's definitely waiting, although he seems to be quite aggressive on the throttle. Takes a lot of curb on the inside there. Into turn 3 he goes. A lot of curb taken there as well. And he's not using any ERS. This might be a glitch from the game. We might want to put the telemetry on real quick. He's not using any. This is quite surprising. Is he warming up the tires? Is he doing anything else? I would say he's going to be waiting till that last minute of this qualifying session, but then on the other hand you can go a little slower, because otherwise the track's not going to evolve and your tires are just going to wear out. But Burley and Stienk on an outlet. Mitrandir has just come out of the pit lane, and somebody seems to have crashed in sector 1. Might have been the McLaren driver who's letting through everyone. That's going to be John Mopes, who just came out of the pit lane. Any surprises at the bottom of the grid? We have got Brass Monkeys in the session as well. It's going to be the Williams driver, who we haven't talked about yet. Brass Monkeys and Redoubts are father and son, so that's a lovely duo there. And if I'm not mistaken, Maggi and Mr. Where's Maggi? Maggi and Mr. De Vicar are also son and dad. So that is lovely to see two duos who are possibly going to be battling with each other here today. Maggi currently around the same pace of Redoubts and Brass Monkeys. De Vicar, who's far ahead. But you never know during a race, as we might want to go on board with Stank here. He's up on his time by 6/10, currently not in pole position contention, but you never know coming into Sector 2 and Sector 3. Wait, he hasn't even covered Sector 1 yet, so I don't know why the game told me it was 6/10 up on his time. The Kick Sauber in a very dangerous location there, parking it onto the curb. 8/10 up on his time. It goes Stiang Doran coming across the line with a 133.4. Didn't use any ERS, or was that Billy G? It must have been Billy G. Stiang currently entering Sector 2. It seems to be getting faster here in Qatar. Might have been the heat warming up the tires, warming up the track. It's still intermediate times for many of the guys here on the Losail International Circuit. And Stank is pushing to grab a pole position here. 1 second up on his time. That will not give him pole yet, but he's got the fastest first sector. He's got the fastest second sector. All he needs is about 5/10 here in Sector 3. Let's see whether he's going to be able to get that done. Seems like he might be able to. Did he use a lot of ERS? It seems like he did. Still has about 40% left in the tank. He's going to drain everything now. Down the straight. Here comes Stank. It's going to be a 132.1. Takes pole position for now, but still many guys on track, including Burley. And is he going to be up on his time? He's got that Williams driver right ahead of him, as well as the Kick Sauber driver. Oh, it's a V-Carb, isn't it? No, it's a Williams driver. We've got that little Duracell on the top of their halo, which is lovely to see. I love the design of that Williams car. He's up on his time by about 5/10. That will not put him on pole position yet, but we saw that Stiang gained about 8/10 in Sector 3. So let's see whether Burley can do the exact same. Sector 3 is possibly the sector where you want to gain the most time, because there is a lot of fast speed corners there, as well as turn 16 here. Coming around the last corner goes Burley. Will not grab the slipstream of the Kick Sauber driver, but I don't think that will be too much of an issue. Is it going to be the first 131? My apologies. No, it's not going to be. It's going to be a 132.4, and that will be qualifying over for Burley. Let's see whether Halfor can still grab a lot of time from his very own time, from his very own lap. It was already a 2:10 gain on Sector 1. It's going to be a 4:10 gain in Sector 1 and Sector 2, so he's up for pole position. Here comes Halfor. Sector 3 is the sector where he needs to gain a lot of time, and he has a little snap coming out of turn 13 into turn 14. This is actually turn 15, my apologies, into turn 16. Is it going to be pole time for Halfor or not? This might have been his best qualifying lap so far this season. Here he comes, the first Kick Sauber driver to put a 131 on the board, and yes indeed, improves by 8/10, and that's going to be pole time for Halfor. Stiang did not improve on his very own time. What will Doran be doing? Pushing though. I think he might be up for a top 5 position here. Just needs to gain about a 10th or 2 in Sector 3. The other Haas driver, no, that's going to be a Red Bull driver. Billy G pushing down John Mobe, so it's either going to be Billy G or Doran in the top 5. And I'm afraid it will be Billy G, because Doran didn't really have an excellent Sector 3. Coming down the line right now goes Doran, and it will be a 132 point something. What qualifying position did he grab? It's going to be a P5 for Doran, so he did indeed beat his very own teammate, and that is lovely to see. The Red Bull drivers once again very cozy under a blanket in P5 and P6 there. So great qualifying here from many of the Norwegian guys. They seem to be dominating here in Speed Force Racing. Division 3, of course. I don't know whether it's going to be the same in Division 2 and Division 1. But here we've got the qualifying results. Halvor in P1, Stank in P2, and Burley in P3. Further, we've got Mitrandir, Doran, Billy G, John Mobe, Sofanico, Maggi, Prep, Alex Hogg, the V-Car, Dom, Reedites, Brass Monkeys, and Gogs, who once again hasn't put a qualifying lap on the board. So 3/10 in between P1 and P2. Not a great distance, but I would say it's quite noticeable that P1 is going to run away with the same pace. Let's say he's going to gain 3/10 a lap. he's going to be at the end of the race having a 10-second lead, for example. So P2 really needs to stick to the toe of Halvor there. If I'm not mistaken, it was Stenk in P2. So he really needs to stick with it on that tail of the Kick Sauber, and then hopefully not going to have too much disturbance from P3 and P4 right behind him. So it's also quite noticeable that a lot of guys will be using different strategies here. As I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat here. Indigo, why is it always raining? Tell Burley I said congrats on being champion. Well deserved is what Indigo says in the chat, Burley, if you're listening. Then we've got Daniel. Raining Qatar, you have got to be taking the piss. Vicar, I take it all back, is what Daniel says. So Vicar, we have got to mention here as well from your name. Just going to take a quick sip of water, and then we will be ready to go. I'm also going to have a quick listen to the live stream, because I did some microphone setting changes. And hopefully it is to your pleasure. How do you say that? I don't even know. Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I gotta be honest, this is probably better than a couple of weeks before. I don't know why, but it was just too bassy or something like that. I don't even know. The guy's still waiting in the pit lane to obviously choose the right setup, choose the right, tire strategy and all that kind of stuff, because it's quite important. It's the penultimate race. A lot of drivers' positions are at stake. Possibly a promotion to Division 2 as well. As maybe guys who are currently in P8, P9 want to get a good result in the last two races to be able to still grab that promotion to Division 2. As that's where most of the top guys are, but Division 1 is obviously the fastest division with drivers like Smoke, drivers like Laser. As everyone has started their formation. Let me just double check what tire choices everyone has made. The top 4 is currently on the medium tires. Then we've got one driver in the top 7 on the hards. That's going to be Thorn, choosing once again another strategy than his very own teammate Billy G. Right behind Billy, we have got John Mopes on the mediums, and then 2 drivers on the hard tires. Those are going to be Sofanico in the Aston Martin and Maggi in the Williams. Prep and Alex Hawkett, P10 and P11 are choosing the medium tires. The Vicar on the hard tires. He's hoping to get a late safety car, maybe trying to extend those hard tires for as long as possible. And then we've got Dom, Redice, and Brass Monkeys all starting on the mediums. Gox at the back of the grid is starting on the hard tires, and we've seen that before. Him choosing the harder strategy in hope that he can extend that that hard or medium tire till the end of the race. I mean, not obviously till the end of the race, but longer than all the other guys who are going on to the mediums or the hard tires, in the hopes that he can, have better pace at the end of the race on the mediums. What we also have to know is that back in F123 and the beginning of F124, we had a lot of fuel issues here around Qatar. A lot of guys dropping out of fuel, having to go really slow around the track and losing many positions. I've seen a driver who was in the lead with about 20 seconds still losing a top 3 position because he was out of fuel. So we really got to notice that mistake from the game. I don't know if it's a mistake, but the guys really have to work around that issue. So Halvor starting in a pole position. We're gonna remove the tires. We are gonna put the position changes on the board as everyone is putting their car in the starting grid. The right spot, obviously. You don't want to be starting P16 if you got to start P6, as that will not be very beneficial for Billy G, who is actually starting in P6. So here we go. DRS is disabled. That means that the 5 red lights are going underway pretty soon. This is season 16. Division 1 round 23 of the Qatar Grand Prix. It's 5 red lights and away we go. Billy G already making up a position. We've got 3 wide there. Both the Red Bull drivers getting attacked from behind by John Mopes. Burley and Stang going side by side. Burley up a position right now. He's down the inside. You really don't want to be down the inside there, but he keeps the position anyway. Beautifully done by Burley. We might want to go on board with John Mopes, who makes up a position on the Red Bull driver. Maybe he can have another shot at the other Red Bull driver, which is going to be Billy G, who gained a position there. Dorn losing 2 positions, but it's not too noticeable because he's on the hard tires as well. He's gonna let through his very own teammate as somebody has made a mistake. That is gonna be Stank in P3. Seems to be struggling on the hard tires as we speak. He's actually on the medium tires, so I'm not really able to explain why he's struggling that much. Billy G might be on the tail of Mitrandir as both the Williams drivers. That's not gonna be a Williams driver. Is that an Alpine driver? This is a really bad view. Who can give commentary to this? I don't know. They're going side by side there. It was the V-Carb driver, Dom, who was going side by side with Matt G. And those were the Williams I was talking about. It's actually a Williams and a V-Carb. As Dom really had a really great start of this Grand Prix on the medium tires. Gained about 4 positions already in the first half of a lap in this Qatar Grand Prix. He's getting chased from behind by Prep though. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to get that position done. As Prep has got the slipstream and the DRS. No, the DRS is not enabled yet. Helvor with the fastest lap so far. Look at the straight line speed from Dom. He's going down the inside. Look at that move from Dom, but he's backside of the move. Still sticks it onto the curb. Almost goes into the back of the Williams driver. Prep now with a very aggressive move. Almost going into the back of the V-Carb driver, but he got it. He's got to wait though. He's got to wait. We've got a position change at the front of the pack. Burley, who got into the lead of the race. Halvor, who dropped the position, and also Stank lost the position at the beginning of that Grand Prix. Billy G now gaining a position. He's trying to stick to the tail of Mitrandir. Stank dropped out of the 1 second, so we've got a 1-2 for Haas and Kicksauber. And Stank not having the DRS is going to have a lot of effect because he's obviously going to even lose more time to Burley and Halvor. Let's go on board with Prep here in P10. There's a little DRS train forming here. Maggi almost dropping out of that 1 second off Dorn. Gox not having a great... I mean, he did have a great start. It was Stephanico who didn't have a great start. The second Aston Martin driver. Oh, Prep almost going into the back of Dom. We've seen it before. Almost took out the V-Carb driver once again. Really late on the brakes there, Prep. Dom again with that straight line speed. Is he going to be able to make a position? I think he is. DRS wide open for Dom right now. And that's going to be his 5th position gain. But Prep is going for it as well. Down the inside. Look at the straight line speed from the Norwegian driver as he makes a move on Dom. And that is something Dom has never been able to defend from. Obviously, when you've got the slipstream, when you've got the ERS, when you've got the DRS, there's no way you're not going to be able to make that overtake done. Now Prep is going to be leading this little train, although cut the corner there a little bit. Dom struggling to keep up with Prep, as there is a 5 to 6 tenth gap already between the both of them. A little snap from Prep has still gained a lot of time. 7 tenths right now is the gap between Prep and Dom, as we might want to go on board with Billy G and Stank here. The Red Bull driver trying to chase down that Norwegian driver. Stank actually got overtaken by Mitrandir as well. And let's see whether we're going to be seeing another position switch between any of these guys, because John Mopes is on the tail of Billy G as well. A lot of curb taken there by Billy G. He even let loose of the throttle. And that's most likely why he's currently 7 to 8 tenths down on Stank and Mitrandir. So let's go on board with the Norwegian driver, who's most likely going to make a move on another Norwegian driver. So we've got still those 4 Norwegian drivers in the top 4. Stank is now going down the inside and makes up that position. And what will Billy G be doing? He's not close enough. John Mopes is getting attacked from behind by Dorn. Dorn down the inside. Is he going to back out of it? Doesn't seem like it. John Mopes is going a little deeper, has the inside line, goes off track, might have caught a track warning there. And being around the outside is definitely going to give you some advantages. As you can see there, Doran into the top 6 as we speak. And now all he has to do is trying to slow down John Mopes with as much as possible. Dom, who's looking to make a move on Mad G. A position switch from the both of them as well, with Prep running away 1.4 seconds so far, as we might want to go on board with the guys here at the back of the grid. Brass Monkeys and Redives having a battle with each other. There's a 7-10 gap between the father and the son. And they're also trying to catch up to Alex Hawk, who's currently in P12. Dropped the position. We might want to go on board with Burley and Halvor as well. And as the two guys are currently entering Sector 3, Halvor barely sticking within that DRS 1 second. So he's just got to up the pace a little bit more here in Sector 3. It's 9.6 tenths right now. And is he going to stick within that 1 second? I think he is. And that is good news for Halvor, obviously. Burley has a lot of pace. Look at that. Let's have a quick look with the tires once again. Medium tires for the top 5. And Doran is in such a beautiful position at the moment. On the hard tires, though, that is going to be good. But on the other hand, he's got John Mopes right behind him. Mitrandir now with a move down the inside with the use of DRS. And also John Mopes is going to get past Doran. Down the inside he goes. Doran, who leaves enough space down the inside, still keeps that position. John Mopes seems to be a little scared there going down the inside. But then on the other hand, he's got the outside line in turn 2, which is going to give you a lot of advantages. But he decided to back out of it. And now they've got Prep chasing them down as well. Prep, who does have a penalty, though. We might want to have a trick with the penalties as well. 3 seconds for Billy G and 3 seconds for Prep so far. But there's still many more to come. Prep now with a move down the inside. John Mopes, who once again goes a little deep there, trying to defend that position. Oh, and Prep is going into the back of John Mopes as well. Did that cause any wing damage? I wouldn't assume so. And that 3-second time penalty is not great for Billy G during his battle with Stieng. Because if these guys are not going to be getting any penalties, he's going to drop many positions or not gain any. You know, if he gets into the top 3, into the top 2 maybe, although there is a 4-second gap between Mitrandir and Halvor, he's going to drop those positions once again, because there's no way Stieng and Mitrandir are going to lose that much time to Billy G. Down the straight they go, and Stieng and Mitrandir are going to switch positions once again. Down the straight they go. DRS wide open for Stieng. Is he going to go for a move? No, he's backing out of the move. John Mopes, on the other hand, makes a move down the straight. Into P6 he goes, and we've got a position switch here as well for the Vigar and Magi. Still side by side coming out of turn 1. Who's going to have the outside line? It will be the Vigar, but Magi comes into the corner first, and Dom makes up a position, pushes the Vigar a little bit wider there. Might have been a little too of an aggressive move with Alex Hawk now trying to go. This is carnage. Look at that. Everyone is right behind each other and causing a lot of chaos here. But we make it out alive. Nobody has damage. Now Redoubts with a move down the inside. Backs out of it. Brass Monkeys overshot the corner. And this will be of no good for the Williams driver with that very... I don't know who's the dad and I don't know who's the son. I think Redoubts is the dad, but I could be wrong. Let's go on board with Halvor and Burley. They're always there entering Sector 3. And then on the other hand, they've got the DRS down the straight. And that's where we're going to see a position switch, because there's only 4 tenths in between Halvor and Burley now. So Halvor definitely will have the upper hand down the straight. So let's see whether that's going to happen. Dom with a 3-second time penalty as well. And that's going to be our third victim. Brass Monkeys is going to be our fourth. With Dom getting another 3-second time penalty. That was probably not what he wanted. Doran now down the straight with the DRS, and that's going to be moved done. The guy on the hard tires has made up that position, and I think he really needs to benefit from that DRS down the straight, because he cannot make an overtake through the corners, obviously, because he's on the hard tires. And I'm really wondering when those medium tires are going to give up. It's going to be, let's say it's going to be a hard medium or a medium hard strategy. You would say around lap 12, 13 that the guys are going to switch over to the hard tires. So we're currently around lap 7. I'd say the mediums are going to drop off around lap 10, 11 maybe. And that's where we're going to see Doran's hard tires come into play. Stank and Billy G are having a battle as well, coming through Sector 2. Is he going to go down the inside? No, just prefer on the racing line as well. Halvor dropped a bit of time to Burley there in the lead of the race. So we just gotta stick with these guys at the back of the field because Redice is planning on a move on his very own dad or son. Man, I'm confused. I used to be confused in the other league as well. It was just, I don't know. They should say Brass Monkey's son or like Redive's dad, but then it's confusing as well because you can think of it as the son and the dad, or it's that guy's son and that guy's his dad. I don't know. Doesn't matter that much. Let's go on board with Halvor and Burley, who were once again close of having a battle with each other. Don Mopes and Dorn are switching positions as we speak, with Dom also making up a position. Down straight he goes. Redoubts now makes a move on Brass Monkeys, and Alex Hawk got caught sleeping there. Lost the position, but makes a switch back on Brass Monkeys. He's going around the outside of Redoubts. Doesn't look like it. Backs out of it, but he makes... Oh, and a big snap, and he takes out Brass Monkeys. But they keep it on track, though. They keep it on track. Alex Hawk made a little mistake there. A little step from the rear coming out of turn 2. And he took out a Brass Monkeys in the way. Not sure if anyone has visible damage. Let's go on board with Halvor here on the tail of Burley once again, heading into Sector 3. And this has been a story that's repeating itself. Halvor losing a lot of time in Sector 3. Halvor does have the DRS, but cannot gain enough time down the straight to be able to make a move. We saw a 110 difference coming into Sector 1. Are we going to be seeing that as well right now? Or are we going to be seeing a move? You see, it goes from 3/10 to 6/10 coming into Sector 3, so this is not great for Halvor. He really needs to step up his game in Sector 3. Down the straight he goes. DRS wide open. Will it be another shot for Halvor? Seems like it is. He still has a lot of DRS left in the tank, so I think he's saving for I don't know what. It's draining his tires. This is not good news for Halvor. It's draining the tires. Being with right behind somebody for so long is going to be very tire consuming, and this is not great for Halvor. He's in a difficult position, and I think, let me have a quick look with how much Burley still has. About 60%. They're both not using any ERS. Billy G on the tail of Stank as well. Let's have a quick look with the position changes. 2 positions gained for Burley, 1 position lost for Halvor, 1 position gained for Mitrandir. Stank lost 2 positions. This is not great. He qualified in P2. He always seems to have a little troubles through the race. The biggest loser so far is Safanico, who's all the way at the back of the grid in P15. Gox having a battle with his very own teammate. The Aston Martin boys are not going to be scoring some great points in this Grand Prix. And we're heading into Sector 3 again. And we're heading into a 7/10 lead for Burley again. So this is once again not going to be a position switch between the both of them. And Halvor seems to be struggling. It's those medium tires that are, because of the dirty air, getting worse and worse. So here we go. Billy G on the tail of Stank. Stank has DRS though, so no position switch here either. So you might want to go on board with Prep. Has a lot of straight line speed. Down the inside he goes. And that's going to be moved on by Prep. Look at that. Maybe a switchback from John Mopes. We saw him before. He's around the outside. And this reminds me of that Russell. Was it Verstappen or was it Norris or was it Piastri? It might have been Russell Piastri. Where Piastri cut across because he was around the outside. No! John Mopes is out of the session. He had such a great race. Do we need to send him another invite? Guys, I don't know who's one of the admins. Please send him an invite. Or can I send him an invite myself? I really need to be... I really need him to be here. It's my last race. He's done well. Let me just drop him a DM real quick. Halvor and Burley seems to be struggling. I mean, man, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. There's no way that we're going to be seeing a battle between these two. Halvor is just struggling in Sector 3. That's all I can say. Stank on the tail of Mitrandir. He seems to be gaining a bit of time on the Norwegian driver. And I really want to see Billy G annoy the Norwegian drivers. Because right now, I mean, we've got a top 3 for the Norwegians, right? A top 4 even. It would be funny if Billy G just gets on that top 3 and says, fuck you guys. No, we don't want a Norwegian alliance forming here in Speed Force Racing. That would be quite funny. Mad G switching positions with Dom. And John Mopes is really losing a lot of time. Let me just double check on whether he needs an invite. Apparently not. He didn't reply to my messages, so I would assume he's not going to be there. And he's not in the cards, ghosted, and that is really unfortunate. Let's go on board with Redoubts. He's on the tail of Alex Hawk. Is he going to go for a move here? Oh, it seems like he was. Into turn 5, into turn 6, still has the inside line. Alex Hawk not giving up, neither is Redoubts. Around the outside he goes into the slowest corner off the track. And Alex Hawk with a beautiful defensive move there. Defending the inside line, nowhere Redoubts could have gone. And he stays within the top 12, but he still has that penalty though, so got to take a deeper look into that later on the race. As we're heading into lap 12 out of the 29, we're going to start seeing the medium tire runners come into the pits. And one of the first drivers will most likely be Billy G. The main reason for that is because he's got that penalty and he's got to do something. Yeah, there we go. Billy G is coming into the pits. He's got to do something. He's got a penalty, and he really needs to gain a lot of time, half-track position. I don't know. He should do something. It doesn't appear like the other guys are getting penalties as soon as he was, so he should have some free airs and clean air is what I should say, and just try to push as much as possible. Stank on the tail of Mitran Deer. It seems to be way closer than it was before. Are we going to see a battle between the both of them? This tank has been within that dirty air for quite some time already. So his tires are going to be gone sooner or later as well. And we're seeing Dorn gain a bit of time as well. The hard tires seem to be stronger at this point during their stint. 11 lap old mediums compared to 11 lap old hards. He can still stretch those hards for about 6 laps. And then he's got to come into the pits. Maybe that's also why Billy G came into the pits earlier, because he's going to have track position holding everyone else up. And then Doran can just push as much as possible on those mediums and trying to make an overtake on everyone else. So this might have been a Red Bull team play here from the Red Bull team. Xiang gets the 3-second time penalty. That's going to be the first driver in the top 5 so far. Obviously without Billy G included. Burley and Halvor both coming into the pits as well. Halvor was most likely waiting for Burley to come into the pits and just copy his strategy. Dorn staying out, Mitrandir staying out as well. Otherwise, it would have been a double stack from the Haas team. And this is good news for Mitrandir, most likely. Not so much good news for Dorn, because right now he once again doesn't have clean air. Matt G staying out. We've got a position switch there in P4 and P5. The V-Car who gets into the top 4. Starting on the hard tires as well. So we're going to see a couple of guys on the medium tires stay out for one more lap. 12 lap old mediums. They're going to go on 13 lap old mediums. And then at the back of the grid, we're looking at a position switch between Billy G and Prep. Billy G, who's still sticking to the tail of Stiank. And he's got heated tires as well. Redoubt's now making a move on his very own teammate, John Mopes, who is still not in his car. And this is really unfortunate. Let me just double check the Discord chat once again. See if he wants an invite. Doesn't look like it. He's out of the session. Might have been an internet connection issue on his part of the connection. I don't know if that makes sense. Dorn and Mitrandir. It's the battle of the constructors, obviously. But it appears like Dorn is going to have clean air after this one. Mitrandir has got to come into the pits, and he will do so. Dorn will be able to push a little more. How much ERS does he have saved? About 50% right now. Draining everything down the straight, but he's going to be able to save a lot through Sector 1, Sector 2, and Sector 3. The V-Car on the tail of his very own son as well. Here they go down the straight. Will he be able to make that move? The V-Car around the outside goes the LP driver. And this is the penultimate race of the V-Car as well. He's retiring after Abu Dhabi. But we know that we don't. Well, I mean, he's always saying that he is, but we don't know that for sure with 100%, of course. Safanico making a move on John Mopes as well. On 13 lap old hard tires. He's quite far behind the V-Car. And he's got a lot of traffic behind him. He doesn't need to let them go through. It's Burley, Halvor, and Gox. Gox who's on 30 lap-old hearts as well, with Burley making an overtake on John Mopes. And both drivers still sticking quite close to each other. Oh, what is happening with Burley? What is happening with Burley? Did he get rammed off track by Halvor? I don't know. He was off track. He was breaking all braking boards, and we didn't see what happened there between the both of them. Does anyone have wing damage? Maybe the Burley has. Let us have a quick look. Doesn't have any wing damage, which is positive news for the Norwegian driver, but Dorn still going for it. He's probably going to come into the pits around lap 16, 17. And we have not seen any safety cars yet. Let's go on board with Stenk and Sofanico. Stenk, it's not easy. It doesn't look easy either. The V-car with a move on Mad G as well down the straight. This time around, it does work. Halvor with a move as well. He's getting impatient. The Norwegian driver making a move on Burley down the straight as well. Into the probably lead of the race. Mad G and the V-car and Dorn still have to come into the pits. They're about 17, 18 seconds ahead. A pit stop around Qatar takes 20 seconds, so Dorn really in a decent position right now to grab a podium. You just got to push as much as possible on the mediums at the end of the race. Let's go on board with Billy G and Stank, who seem to be having a lot of battles right now. And it's a battle as well because... Oh, look at that move from Billy G! Down his side! What a move! Stank saw that coming. I mean, he didn't saw it coming. And then Billy G just went for it. Down his side. What a move from Billy G. And look at the gap between Mitrandir and Billy G as well. 1.8 seconds. It means that the Norwegian driver is trying to push away from Billy G and Stenk because of the battling that's going on as well. He doesn't want to be tangled up in between that battle. And I use this metaphor a lot of times in my commentary streams, but when there's two dogs battling for a bone, a third one is always going to run away with it, and that's exactly what's happening here with Mitrandir, Billy G, and Stenk. As look at that gap, 1.9 seconds, and Billy G isn't even battling with Stenk in Sector 3. Stenk right now with a possible switchback. Is he going to go for it? Oh no, he doesn't have the pace coming into turn 2. The V-car and Billy G having a battle with each other as well, and I'm really wondering when Dorn is going to come into the pits. He's on 15 lap-old hard tires. I assume he's going to go on another one. We're halfway through this race already, lap 16 out of the 29, and only 13 more laps here for me in Speed Force Racing. And this is not going to be a goodbye for me. It's not going to be a goodbye. It's not going to be me not coming back anymore. I mean, obviously, if the admins don't want me to come back, that's clear enough for me if it would be the case, but I don't think that is the case. I think I can be proud of what I've done here in Speed Force Racing, and I'm very happy that everyone has welcomed me every time, but it's just a difficult situation for me right now on Mondays. As Dorn comes into the pits onto the medium tires, Billy G grabs the penalty as well. Let us have a quick look at the penalties. 6 seconds for Billy G, 3 seconds for Stank, 3 seconds for Brab, 6 seconds for Dom, 3 seconds for Alex Hawk, and 6 seconds for Brass. Halvor now getting overtaken by Burley in sector, most likely sector 1 with the use of the DRS. So Dorn came out of the pit lane in P5. And he's going to be 1.6 seconds behind Mitrandir. I think he has a great shot at the podium here. He's on the medium tires. Mitrandir is on the hard tires. He's just got to push as much as possible. 1.3 seconds. We saw it being 1.5 earlier. So he's just got to make that overtake as soon as possible and just stick ahead of Mitrandir. Drain everything he can down the straight and just grab that podium. That would be absolutely amazing for Dorn in his penultimate lap here in season 16. He's already within 1 second. Look at the pace from Dorn. He's fuming. He wants to get past everyone. He wants to bulldoze his way into the podium. Let me just double check here. Mr. Eaple in the chat says, sad to hear Indigo. This is not even Indigo. This shows how much appreciation I get. This is not even Indigo. Lol. Burley had to avoid Alex Hawk spinning when he was out of the track. The V car came into the pits. Let's go on board with Halvor as well. He's on the tail of Burley. Breb and the V car are switching positions as well. No, that's the V car coming into the pits. Coming out of the pits right now because his pit stop has been done already. Not much battling going on. Dorn on the tail of Mitrandir though. Oh, look at that switchback. Oh no, he's not going to make that move done. Had too few straight line speed coming out of that corner. I mean, not necessarily straight line speed, just speed coming out of the corner. Traction is what you can also call it. Dorn is really patient, and I feel like that's been the story of this race. Guys being really patient. We didn't see Halvor make a move until they came out of the pit lane. And that was about 13, 14 laps into this race. So Burley was still in the lead of the race up until lap 14. And then Halvor had the straight line speed. He had the DRS, he had the ERS, and went for it for the first time in this Grand Prix. And we're seeing it as well here between Dorn and Mitrandir. Dorn just waiting for the DRS down the straight. Let's see if that's going to happen. DRS wide open, and move done by Dorn heading into turn 1. And Dorn now onto the podium. Mitrandir, is he going to take a shot down the inside? Doesn't look like it. Was too far behind. So a move down the inside. Alla Ricciardo is not going to be to the order. Is that the right phrase? I don't know. Dom now in P10. He's too far behind the V car. The Gogs and Redoubts are switching positions though. Gogs into the top 12. He's always starting from the back of the grid, currently in P12. Gained about 4 positions. Sofanico with the fastest lap as well on those mediums, a 125.7. So that does mean that Sofanico has a lot of pace. He's just all the way at the back of the grid. Might have had a bad qualifying and a bad race. The qualifying actually wasn't that bad. I think he was just really unlucky during the start of this Grand Prix because he lost a lot of positions. Let's have a quick look. 8 positions lost together with John Mopes as well. He's not in his car either. So, yeah, I mean, I sent him a message. I said, do you want to join back? He didn't reply. So, I would have been... it would have been my pleasure to send him an invite, but obviously if you don't even want to join back yourself, it's not going to be happening. He was in a decent position. I think it was in P8, P9. So that's going to be a decent amount of points, isn't it? Halvor still sticking to the tail of Burley, and we're looking at a 1.5 second gap between Mitrandir and Dorn already. So it appears like Mitrandir has a little more straight line speed, but then those medium tires are coming into play in Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3, where you do need those freshness of the mediums and also obviously the softness of the medium tires compared to the hard tires to gain you a bit more time. 1.6 seconds so far, and maybe Billy G can play a part in this as well. If he can catch up to Mitrandir, holding up with us for as much as possible until those medium tires are wearing off, I think Dorn will have a big gap compared to, in between himself and Mitrandir. It's 2.1 seconds right now. He's gaining, and is it going to be enough? You never know when those medium tires are going to wear off. He's in a lot of free air, but so is Mitrandir and so is Billy G. So they just got to work together with each other there, the Red Bulls. It seems like Billy G is gaining a bit of time though, 1.7, 1.8. It's going to be close, and Billy G, it doesn't matter whether he's got a penalty or not. He's just got to play a part in this battle between Mitrandir and Dorn for a shot at the podium. Now, the battle between P1 and P2 isn't done either. The battle for the race win. And Burley, is he going to grab his 9th race win? Doesn't look like it because Halvor is going to make a move down his side. Beautifully done there by Halvor. But obviously, Halvor hasn't won many Grand Prix here yet in Speed Force Racing. I'm just going to double check how many he has actually won. I think it's even one. Oh, and Stank retired from the session in the pit lane though, so I was afraid I was gonna have another safety car. And let us just double check. Div 3, we have got Burley having 6 wins. My apologies. This is going to be his 7th if he actually wins the Grand Prix. Looking at Halvor, he's actually only won 1 Grand Prix. He's been on the podium once, and he's got 1 fastest lap, 1 pole, and 1 penalty points. So maybe he can change that today to 2 wins in this season. And of course, we've got next week as well, Abu Dhabi, where he can grab another race win, and then he will be crowning himself podium sitter based on wins. So yeah, that would be quite of an accomplishment for Halvor. He really needs to grab this race win as well if he wants to promote to Division 2, because he's currently in P9 having 266 points. Ahead of him is Billy G and Matt G, also Stjank. So this is going to be a big points for Halvor, not necessarily for Burley. So maybe the Norwegian drivers are going to be working together with each other, gifting that race win to Halvor. But I'm pretty sure Burley is not one of those guys. He wants to grab that race win for himself. He wants to show the guys in Division 2 that he is a pain in the ass to race against. And let's see whether that's going to show here. Maggi and Prep are having a battle as well. Down the straight they go. Maggi with an overtake as he's heading into the top 6. Maybe even into the top 5. He just needs to stick within 6 seconds of Billy G. He's going to be around that 6-second gap right now, 5.8. But we don't know whether that's going to continue at the end of the race. He's on the medium tires though, Billy G on the hard tires. So let me just double check on the tires here as well. 5-lap old medium tires for Matt G. So we've got Stefanico making a move at the back of the grid on Brass Monkeys as well. That's going to be a move down the straight. Are we seeing any other crazy moves from the guys? Brass Monkeys losing a lot of time to Stefanico. That's obviously because of the difference in tires as well. Medium tires for Stefanico, hard tires for Brass Monkeys. Oh, Burley now with a move on Halvor. He's really... we've seen that before. Burley having a lot of pace in Sector 3. He's just sticking to the tail of Halvor. How much ERS does he have left? He wants to make a move. DRS, ERS wide open, and that's going to be moved done by Burley. Beautifully done. Halvor is going to try and stick around the outside, but he backed out of it again. Prep now on the tail of Maggi as well. But don't worry, Maggi. I mean, he had a good qualifying, but he had a great race as well. Look at that. 3 positions gained. He came from P9, currently in P6, maybe even a P5. So we can basically crown him biggest winner of the day, right? Well, I mean, together with the Vicar and Dom, but they started all the way at the back of the grid. Stjang, I'm not going to say anything, but Stjang didn't have a great race once again. It's been a couple of weeks that he's kind of losing a lot of pace, losing a lot of positions, losing the car. He retired in the pit lane though, so I'm not sure what's up with that, as we might want to go on board with Gox and Alex Hawk here. What tires are these guys on? It's going to be medium tires for Gox, so he should have the upper hand in this battle. Doesn't seem to be gaining too much time on Alex Hawk right now, but Gox really need to get past Alex Hawk to get into that top 9, because right now he's about 4.5 seconds behind Dom. Dom, who does have a penalty though, so if he wants to grab a top 9, he should push a little more. The Vicar and Prep having a battle right now, as we might want to go on board with Halvor and Burley. And this is what we saw before, and Halvor has a penalty as well. Halvor has a penalty, and that will do him no good, because he's gonna almost certainly grab P2 instead of P1 because of that penalty. So the battle has been decided if Burley is not going to grab another penalty, and I don't think Halvor will gain 3 seconds on Burley either in 5 laps. So the Vicar now down the straight with the use of DRS makes up that position, goes back into the slipstream, but backs out of it again. Simply doesn't have the straight line speed. And Maggi seems to have the straight line speed, because he didn't lose a position to the Vicar and Prep, who both have had DRS. So quite unfortunate to hear, as we might want to go on board with the guys here at the back of the grid. Alex Hawk just got overtaken by Gox, and the Vicar is still trying to make an overtake on Maggi. He might be working together with Maggi though, both drivers who have quite of a relationship to each other. And maybe Maggi told his dad, you know, the V-car, it's your penultimate race. Please hold everyone up for me so I can grab a decent result. Or Maggi is going to gift that B5. Wait, it's the V-car who doesn't have a penalty. I thought Maggi didn't have a penalty either. Oh yeah, this changes everything, because now the V-car can grab a B5 and possibly a decent position as well. The decent amount of points to still stay within that top 5 in the Drivers' Championship. Halvor and Burley right behind each other. Halvor simply couldn't make that overtake. Around the outside he goes right now, but Burley has an awkward line coming into turn 2. Didn't give the advantage to Halvor. And Halvor's got to be furious. He's been stuck behind Burley for about 3 laps so far. The V-car and Maggi, who now switch positions. Breb has got to be trailing behind. Let us just double check on the penalties real quick. Billy G with 6 seconds. He's going to lose a position to the V-car. But Doran is still on the podium. He's got a 5.3 second gap to Mitrandir. And I think going from the hards to the mediums was definitely a brave decision, but a good decision by Doran, who's now going to grab his... let me just double check. It's going to be his 6th podium. He's been really doing well getting those podiums and getting a decent position. And I mean, the only guy he's currently battling with in the Drivers' Championship is Mr. Wiggles, who's not going to be there today, so he's going to grab a B2 in the Drivers' Championship. And then next week is going to be the deciding race between the both of them. Once again, no move from Halvor. And I think he's not even going for a move anymore. There's no point in going for a move unless he can force Burley off track, causing him to grab a 3-second time penalty, and then hoping for that 3-second time penalty to not get removed. Now down the straight we go. It's Prep against Dom. Stienk has left the session as well. And somebody we haven't seen before in the last couple of races is the other Mercedes driver, the Bulgarian driver. What's his name again? I totally forgot about the name. Doesn't matter that much. Alex Hawk on the tail of Gox again. And are we seeing those medium tires drop off? I think we are. 13-lap-old hard tires compared to 9-lap-old medium tires. And Alex Hawk is gaining time on Gox right now. Let's have a quick look with the penalties. Halvor on the tail of Burley as well. And he's losing time again in Sector 3. This has been the story of this race between the both of them. It's just quite interesting. Mitrandir not really pushing either. He knows that that distance is not going to get covered anymore. 6.8 seconds is a big gap between those two. It's 3 more laps to go, so he needs to gain about 2.5 seconds a lap to be able to get to the tail of Doran. Doran, on the other hand, is gaining a bit of time on Halvor and Burley. Maggi on the tail of the V-car. Down the straight he goes. The DRS wide open. He's going to go for a move down the inside. And Prep lacking a bit of straight line speed once again, even though he has the DRS. Cannot make a position, cannot make a move on the V-car. Alex Hawk with the DRS as well down the straight. And I gotta be honest, this has been quite of a boring race. Not much battles going on apart from down the straight and into turn 1, obviously. And I feel like the actual F1 Grand Prix was a little more interesting than this one. Also because we saw a safety car or two. This one we've seen none. And that has been repeating itself as well in the last couple of Grand Prix. Apart from the rain, we haven't seen too many safety cars. And that is also quite deciding on the results of the Grand Prix, because some guys are hoping for a safety car so they can go for another strategy. Drivers like maybe Doran, maybe the V-car, who were hoping for a late safety car. The V-car now in the tail of his very own son. Into the penultimate corner he goes. We're heading into the penultimate lap as well. Lap 28 out of 29. Got a decent battle between Burley and Halvor, although I don't think it will be deciding enough for this race win. The V-car down the straight right now. That's going to be a move done. Beautifully done by the V-car, although the only thing he had to do was press R2 or L2. I don't know which one you guys use. For his DRS, obviously, down the straight. So heading into the penultimate lap goes these two. This might be the last race of them battling against each other, and it might be that next race in Abu Dhabi, for example, Matt G is at the front of the pack, the V-car is at the back of the pack, and yeah, I mean, it's been a great adventure with the V-car. I'm still mispronouncing his name. Love you, the V-car. I know you get frustrated with me saying your name wrong. Let's have a look here with Alex Hawk, right on the tail of the Aston Martin driver. And that's not going to be a move either. The hard tires are getting faster though. You can see Gog struggling a little bit. You might want to go on board with Burley and Halvor, as this is going to be the last move of Halvor. Down the inside he goes. Burley trying to defend the inside line, but Halvor makes it out ahead. And this has been a battle he's been waiting for 29 laps. And he finally got it. Halvor sticking to the tail. It's Burley sticking to the tail of Halvor right now. The story has changed a little bit there. The roles reversed. Matt G making a move on the V-car as well. They caught up to Billy G. So that's going to be move done by the V-car on 2 drivers. If it doesn't grab a penalty though. Maybe Matt G can even stay within P6. Alex Hawk and Gox are having a battle as well right now. But the biggest battle going on right now is for the lead of the race. The race win has already been decided if Burley doesn't grab a penalty. But it appears like he's sticking within the track limits. Into the penultimate sector we go. This is going to be lap 29 out of the 29. My last Grand Prix here in Speed Force Racing. As next week I'm going to Disneyland, and then is the season over, and then I'm gone. So Burley is gonna grab the last race win I have commentated on. Here we go, down the line we go. Halvor finished the race in first, but he drops back a position due to penalties. We've got a big battle going on right now between Matt G and the V-car. Matt G almost stayed within that top 6, but Billy G just stays out ahead. He's 3.9 seconds ahead. Matt G needed to be within 3 seconds. And the V-car bumps up to P5. We've got a battle going on here between P11 and P10 as well. Although Cox has got no penalties, so he will stay within that top 10. Beautiful race from Cox as well. Went from P... Oh, he's even going to P9. Look at that. Cox qualifying in P16. I mean, didn't even qualify. Moving up to P9, gained 7 positions. But the V-car can be crowned a driver of the day. He had a great Grand Prix. Such a good comeback race. I think he started on the hard tires, finished off the race on the medium tires, so a great strategy. The hard-medium strategy was definitely the better one here in this Grand Prix. But the race win goes to Burley, John Mopes, who unfortunately disconnected from this Grand Prix. And that's going to be the last race. I mean, the penultimate race of this season. My last race here in Speed Force Racing. I don't even know why this car parks this way like this. Just come across the line and just end this race, because I don't know why it does that. Doesn't matter that much. Here are the results of this Grand Prix. It's still loading though. On the left side you can see please wait. We gotta wait a little bit more, unfortunately enough. But hopefully I have entertained you guys with as much as I can. It's been quite of an adventure. I think I started commentating for you guys in season 14. This is season 16 already. I haven't been very reliable. I haven't been very frequently present. But I tried my best. I tried to combine being self-employed, being employed in another company, going to school, doing commentary, doing some other stuff on the side. It's been a pleasure going to Ireland as well. You guys have seen me doing commentary while being in Ireland. I don't know why I'm seeing this. I want to see the standings, but it doesn't give me the standings, so I cannot talk about the standings, I assume. Apparently not. The Grand Prix win goes to Burley, though. P2 goes to Halvor, and if I'm not mistaken, P3 goes to Dorn. So congratulations on the podium, guys. And all I can say right now is thank you for listening to me in the last couple of probably was this a year already? Have I been commentating for you guys for a year already? I think I have, actually. It's been a year already. I didn't always get a thank you. Whereas the other commentators got a thank you after every race, which is quite sad, but I understand. I've been doing commentary for you guys for so long, and you might have gotten bored from my voice. But apart from that, I am going to thank you very much in this last Grand Prix here in Speed Force Racing from me, your commentator, VB Thomas. And I'll see you guys around. Good luck in the next season. Good luck in the next division if you are promoting to another division. And good luck in your last Grand Prix next week. Guys, this was VB Thomas as your commentator. Peace out. Bye-bye.